What is going on, my trainer club? We have Latios coming back for a raid week in Pokemon Go, and guess what? We can get that beautiful shiny. So what I'm gonna do is break down the 100% IVs, my top tips to help you beat them, and then my raid counter guide so that you can be set up for success. So welcome to the trainer club, guys. Here we go. Alright everyone, we just had a big announcement drop in Pokemon Go. I am super stoked about this because I think the shiny is so cool looking. We have Latios coming back for a raid week similar to the Latias that we had. So everybody was always asking, when is the shiny Latios going to come out? And now we have that fact. So we have April 15th all the way until April 22nd, a week long of the shiny Latios potential coming out to raids in Pokemon Go. So we're going to be sharing it with the Giratina origin form. So this is a really cool time to raid because Latios is a much better attacker than Latias. So this is a more in-demand Pokemon to have for a legendary. And now we are going to look out the top counters, including the 100% IV for the Latios. So Latios, under normal conditions, level 20, 100% IV is going to be 2178. And then boosted under windy conditions, at level 25, it's going to be 2723. So Latios is a psychic dragon Pokemon, and similar to Latias, how Latias gets thunder, Latios gets solar beam. So thunder is a okay move, but solar beam is destructive, and paired with the attack stat of Latios, it is going to be a little bit harder of a Pokemon to get. So he has a max CP of 3812 for a 100%. His attack is going to be 268. So he has an attack of 268, a defense of 212, and a stamina of 190. So he is definitely more on the attack heavy type Pokemon. So his special damages are going to do a lot more than Latias did for you. And he has a myriad of different weaknesses. They are going to be Ice, Ghost, Fairy, Dragon, Dark, and Bug, and they are all going to be single weaknesses. Same thing with the resistances. He's going to resist as a single resistance: Electric, Fighting, Fire, Grass, Psychic, and Water. And I don't know about you guys, but the shiny is super dope to me. It's like a cool, really vibrant, bright teal. I gotta have it. I am going to be doing it, and I'm considering maybe we're gonna do a raid weekend somewhere special so we can explore and make a vlog for you guys to check out where we're going into a new city. That's gonna be super fun. So now let's check out the top counters to get us ready to beat down Latios. And I know I have done a Latios excellent throw video before, but the tutorial was a little bit older of mine, so I'm definitely going to do a new one for you guys to make sure that you can get both the attack stats down for the bottom and the top, to make sure everybody has it down, ready to maximize. It's pretty much the same as Latias, slightly different because his attack animation goes in an opposite direction, and I know sometimes those opposite direction attacks kind of throw you guys off, so I am definitely going to make an excellent throw tutorial to make sure that you guys have this down. So checking out the top attackers, we are starting with the excellent attackers, and the number one, let me know if you can guess it before I say it. It's going to be super powerful dragon. We just had a raid weekend, Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a beast dragon attacker, and although it is not quite as tanky as some of the other dragons, it's going to do a ton of DPS and deliver maximal damage, which puts him as the number one supreme attacker for Latios with Dragon Tail and Outrage. The only thing you have to know as when we check into the movesets towards the end of the video, that if it has Dragon, it's just going to die a little bit quicker. Going on to the next one, you'll notice that all the dragons are in there because they deliver so much damage. So the next we have Salamence, who's a little bit tankier, Dragon Tail, Draco Meteor for the Salamence, and Dragonite with Dragon Tail, Outrage for the Dragonite. Then we have Palkia with Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, and then we have Dialga with Dragon Breath, Draco Meteor as well. And going on, now we have the excellent attackers, and we are actually looking at our first non-legendary attacker, which is going to be Gengar. And as you know before, my opinion on this is I would rather have the origin form in there just because it's going to be a little bit more tankier. We're not going to have to need as many revives, but if you're going for sheer total time just to get it as fast as you can, something you may look at is using all Gengars. So Gengar is going to be Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. And you can also use the Lick from the Raid Day. Super effective. Both of those guys are going to do a lot of damage. It is going to faint quite a bit, so you're going to have to take that into account. And then we are going to look at the Giratina with Dragon Tail and Shadow Ball. Most effective moveset for this Pokemon. We're going to look at Latios next against Latios. Big surprise. We have Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw. And then we're going to look at the Mewtwo with the Psycho Cut and the Shadow Ball. The one thing I did want to note is that Ice Beam Mewtwo can be used, but it is not as effective as the Shadow Ball. The other thing I wanted to point out is that since it doesn't have a stab effectiveness on the Shadow Ball and it doesn't have a Ghost first move, it's not going to deliver as much damage as the Gengar for the time to win respect. And then going onwards, we have the last in the excellent category. We have Mamoswine with Powder Snow and Avalanche. Even though Mamoswine has become the best ice attacker in the game since the Community Day with the Avalanche evolution, the one thing we do have to note is that the dragons are going to make more damage and produce more damage onto the Latios because of the dragon on dragon weakness. And the reason why he's not as effective as like Rayquaza is because he doesn't have that double weakness to ice. So from here on out, we're going to have a considerably more time to win as opposed to the other attackers. So if you can use the Supreme and the Excellent attackers, always do that. But for right now, we're going to check these out just in case you don't have those guys powered up. We're going to look at Honchkrow with Snarl and Dark Pulse. We can use Weavile with Feint Attack and Avalanche. We can use Latias, as we talked about, as not as strong of an attacker. That's why he is in the good raid counter category with Dragon Breath and Outrage. We can use Alolan Executor with Dragon Tail and Dragon Pulse. And then we can also use Houndoom with Snarl and Foul Play. So that's way down on the list. If you can help it, I wouldn't use those guys. It's best to stay at the top, if not the top, as much as possible. So just to point out that Latios' move pool is going to kind of throw things up a little bit. Normally we would put Tyranitar in here. However, the one thing is that you're really going to have to take into account is that Solar Beam is absolutely detrimental to Tyranitar. It will completely knock him out. So you can put him in there, but is it really worth it when there's so many other attackers? Because the Solar Beam will knock him quite out. So if we're going to go in and it's all dragons and we see that as our counterparty, we're probably going to have a good hunch that he has either Psychic or Grass moveset for the quick attack and for the charge. But if it's putting other things in there besides dragons, it's probably going to have Dragon Quick Attack and then Dragon Special. So now we're going to go over its movesets. It can get Dragon Breath and Zen Headbutt, which is Dragon and Psychic respectively. And then for its specials, it can get Dragon Claw, so it's going to be doing a lot of specials. Boom, 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 very quick. So you're going to get hit with a ton of specials. It can also have Psychic, and then it can also get Solar Beam, as we talked about. And Solar Beam is just one of those moves, in my opinion, and you've seen it out there, that when it comes, it hits very hard. It's similar to like that Draco Meteor on the Dialga and the Palkia. It just hits really, really hard. And it's likely to do 3/4, if not all of the damage of your Pokemon, depending on which ones you're using and how powered up they are with their stamina. So now we're going to check out the time to win chart to see what are the top ranking Pokemon that we already talked about and what their charts look like. We have Rayquaza with Dragon Tail Outrage, time to win 654 seconds with 30 deaths. Next we have Salamence with Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, 663 seconds and 30 deaths. Dragonite, Dragon Tail Outrage, we have 702 seconds for win, and then we have 29 deaths. We have Garchomp, which obviously isn't out yet, but it will be soon, with Dragon Tail Outrage, 897 with 31 deaths. Palkia, Dragon Tail, Draco Meteor, 683 seconds with 35 deaths. Latios, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, 744. We have Mewtwo with Psycho Cut and Shadow Ball, 790. We have Gengar, which is going downwards in the time to win, with Lick and Shadow Ball, or Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, with 686 with 47 deaths. That's what I'm talking about as the Glass Cannon with the Gengar. He dies a ton, and so that's what you're going to have to take into account when you're picking him over the Giratina Origin form. We have Mamoswine with Powder Snow, Avalanche, 755 with 38 deaths. Giratina Origin form, Dragon Tail, Shadow Ball, 838 seconds, so it's quite significantly higher, but he has 28 deaths. Then we have Latias with Dragon Breath, Outrage, 838. We have Houndoom, 844. Honchkrow, 817. We have Weavile with 790. Glaceon with 809, which isn't out yet, and we have Scizor with 921. And so if you want to check out more of these guys, you can check out the Tyranitar, Yanmega, Sharpedo, Pinsir, Gyarados, Rampardos, Jinx, Drifblim, Togekiss. We haven't gone over all of these, but the reason why is because their time to win increases so significantly. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to look out for those 100% IVs. We're going to want to set up our counterparties just as I described here, and we're going to want to make sure to maximize, get as many people as you can. And in my opinion, from doing a lot of rating, it seems like these shinies will show up more frequently when we have 8 plus people in the raids. And oftentimes I've even seen 2 or 3 come up the more higher in the raid count we get. When you're going in with like 4 or 5 people, sometimes when we go out there and we're battling it with just a few people, we don't see shinies, and they're just not that frequent. It seems like the 8 people mark is really what brings out the shinies and the good IVs and everything else that we typically see. I would suggest doing raids with that many people so that you can get as many of those guys as you can, and it makes it way more prevalent. Trust me on this. Do higher quantity people raids if possible. And so get your crew together, get to a downtown area, find the populated raids, do those Giratina origin forms and those Latios, and get that shiny. So thanks for tuning into the Trainer Club, guys. Can't wait to see you guys out. Got a ton of video and content coming out this week. I will see you out on that next video.